We are the PAL Hawaii, Permanently Affordable Living Hawaii radio show. It's housing and so much more. This is the PAL radio show on KKCR, the fourth Monday of every month from 4 to 6 p.m. Uh-oh, which one are you on, Leigh? Because now we're all on jammed up. You're 2 and 3. I bet you're 4.
I'm 4.
How's it sound,
I'm
Leigh?
4.
You can hear yourself?
I can hear myself. Okay.
Good. Mel, can you hear, Leigh?
Can I hear you? Can you hear me?
There we
can
go.
you hear me?
Bernard, can you hear Mel?
I can hear Mel.
Oh, there we go.
Okay,
I can hear you,
Oh.
Bernard. I think we're getting there. I'll adjust the mics as we go.
We can all
But
see and
thanks,
hear
Leigh.
each other.
I know that's the best thing.
Awesome. Okay, and I'm Leilani Spencer, CEO of PAL Hawaii.
And I'm the co-host of the PAL radio show here. We are the two Houseketeers now that Larry's not with us.
Yes, we are.
We're going to be 2026 looking for, if you will, a third wheel.
We'll have co-hosts too.
Co-hosts.
In the incoming year.
There we go. Things to look forward to in the new year.
And PAL Radio is a talk show. It's a call-in show. So we encourage listeners to call in, share your thoughts, ask questions, be part of the solution. The calls in this show are vision. Oh, go on, Mike.
And our mission is to establish a foundation of hope by providing affordable homes and services for the people of Hawaii.
And our vision, permanently affordable living. That is why all of our homes built will be placed in our community land trust, Ho'omaluhia Land Trust, preserving affordability for 2 99-year lease periods and providing multi-generational housing for Kauai. And to get the latest news about PAL, you can email us at info@PAL, providing multi-generational housing for Kauai. And to get the latest news about PAL, you can email us at info@pal-hawaii.org. Sign up our monthly PAL Post newsletter. That's a great way to know what's happening. You can reach us on our phone, which is listed on our website. You can also just easily type in PAL-Hawaii and it'll pop right up. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and other social media. And this show is being filmed by Max of Hoike TV, so you'll also be able to see us.
Yay, thanks, Max. So, Leigh, we have 2 distinguished guests in the house today. What's our show about today?
Today's show is Kauaʻi Mayor 2026. The conversation begins. We have 2 in-studio guests, Mel Rapozo, Kauai County Council Chair, and Bernard Carvalho, Jr., who is current County Councilmember and former Mayor of Kauai. They're the first candidates to announce so far. We'll keep it Kauai style, casual, friendly, and respectful.
Thanks, Leigh. A quick format note. Same questions, equal time. We'll rotate who answers first, and we'll open the phone line sometime during the second hour after 5 for listeners who've got some questions and want to check in and see how we are, where we're at on the issues. Leigh.
And if you miss all or part of the show, you can see it later in the KKCR archives or on Hoike TV.
And an in-studio reminder, please speak into the mic, as X-Men says, talk into the sock. And pause for a beat before answering and let each other finish. And we'll help keep time so both guests get equal airtime.
So let's get started.
All right. And go ahead, Leigh. You want me to go first? There we go.
Because that's your question, and that's a good one.
Want to make sure I got it on the right side. Democracy and civic trust.
Right here.
No? What am I looking at?
Page 1. Bottom line. First top.
Let's get started?
Yep.
All right. One thing you respect about your opponent. Oh, here we go. So who's going to answer first? Oh, Mel, you're going to answer first.
I'll go first.
And then guess what? You get a chance to have that same question to you. One thing you respect about your opponent, and one key difference between you as leaders on Kauai.
Well, I mean, everybody knows Bernard. First of all, I want to thank PAL Hawaii and KKCR and Hoike for doing this. One of the things that I respect a lot about Bernard is his love for this place, this island, this community, and especially his love for our keiki and the kupuna. I mean, that is just undisputable. And, you know, we share a lot of values. Bernard and I actually, probably if you go far back enough, we're probably related. But, you know, it's an awkward situation because we're both running for the same office. And I look at it
Not the first time, though.
No, not the first time. But I didn't know Bernard as well as I do now.
Yeah.
So
Working, if you will, side by side for the last 2 years. But before that, under...
I mean, I tell everybody I love him like a brother. I mean that, and so it's a little awkward, but I truly appreciate that his love for this place and
its people.
Yeah, and he does that so well. And I think for me, where I think I excel is the ability to put out a long-term vision. Politics is interesting. Regardless of where you go, it's not limited to Kauai or Honolulu or Maui or the mainland. Politicians often get stuck in this rut where they're looking at their term of office, whether it's 4 years, 8 years, whatever the case may be. And I like to think that I have this ability to look forward down the road. I think now is a time where we got to be looking 30 years to 40 years down the road, and that is what I like to think that I can do well.
Okay, good deal. Bernard, same question. What is it about Mel that you respect? Those things that you admire, the qualities that he brings to the game.
Me, Mel,
and then the things you see as different.
Yeah. So first of all, I mean, we've known each other a long time, brothers, and we understand each other's vision overall, if I will. But at the same time, his ability to reach out and talk story, and the family, the ohana, I think that's our two main ones, the ohana first, and everything else is our mo'opuna and grandkids. But at the same time, all the issues, we're pretty much similar on a lot of the issues, but it's how we take the lead to make it happen or move it forward. But I just wanted to say, Mel is a brother, and we keep working together. On the county council, we've been working it. I mean, we got differences.
Sure.
But at the same time, at the end of the day, we make the decision. And I think that's the big thing we want the people to know. That whatever happens in this particular, movement, we're going to move forward. But at the same time, there's a lot of great things happening that we can offer to the people of the island. But again, I appreciate Mel and his understanding and his experience and reaching out, all the time. And, we kind of get done at 3-point stance every so often, but we'll leave that on the side.
Not today.
Not today. But for now...
it is kind of a small space, though.
All on the table.
Yeah.
But again, I appreciate Mel, his ohana, and all of us working together. And I look forward to more opportunities. But at the same time, you're asking, there's a difference in our leadership style. But at the end of the day, we're connected. And I think that's the biggest thing for me. Okay.
Yeah, Kauai is going to have, I think, a difficult choice that way. Yeah. At this moment, we only know of 2 candidates who are running for mayor. Do you guys hear any rumors of a third or someone stepping up?
I haven't heard.
I don't think they could announce anything like that.
I just wondered, Bob
Jimmy.
Creef, are you listening?
Oh, stop.
I'm playing.
Stop.
Here we go.
There's a lot of rumors, and I live by, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. Because, there's just so many rumors floating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be starting any rumors.
No, not here.
No, not here.
Okay.
Not here, not today.
All right. That's a good guideline to because I saw, I think it was Gary Hoozer's birthday not too long ago, and he posted, send out for just communicating, and he's got a blog, so I was thinking that'd be a good rumor to start, but we're not going to do that today.
No, but in the coming months, and when everyone has had the opportunity to announce, we will be covering that. It's just that these are the first 2 candidates that stepped up, so here we are.
Here we are.
Okay.
And thank you guys for doing that, because not everybody wants to be mayor of Kauai.
No.
And not everyone should be. So...
And announce as early as you have. So we appreciate you for that.
Leilani, you're going to go next, right?
Okay, so for next. And I know we have such a limited time. We have a lot of questions to ask. So, brief is good, but say what you need to say.
And we do want to hear more. We're going to tease out more information for you guys. Yeah.
And we have more questions than we have time.
And our listeners, please remember, we'll open the phone lines up during the second hour, so we'll get to those questions as well.
Yes. And I wanted to just tell listeners, too, in case you have burning questions, we are covering topics of democracy, civic trust, leadership, federal issues and local role, public safety and KPD, housing permitting and neighborhood balance, and water governance and infrastructure. There's a lot of things we're covering: visitor impacts, homelessness, solid waste, and administration. So those are the topics. Don't feel like you have to call in and ask each one. Hopefully we'll cover a lot of things that you're
Sure. And if there's something here that we haven't covered, but you guys want to make sure, please do.
Okay.
Like
Awesome.
the Super Bowl?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Not here, not today. Sorry, guys.
Oh,
but good for those who were the fans, okay?
Let's see how well we manage the clock.
And I'm a fan of no one on American football. Sorry. Okay. So my question is I guess we're toggling back and forth. Yeah. We should alternate that too. It's not fair to always have the first one be the first one.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll go this time alphabetical order. Why, Bernard, are you running for mayor, and what are your top 3 priorities for your first year?
Why I'm running for mayor? Well, having been the mayor for 10 years, and then having the opportunity to work as a county council member, I've gained much more experience on the county council level side, but I bring that experience of being mayor for 10 years. I've been approached by many, many people in our community to see my leadership style, and I want to bring that back to the table. I know that we have a lot of resources. I have a lot of resources and experience, and I just feel at this time in my life, I feel that I can bring that all back and connect all the resources that need to come together in a timely manner. And that's including hearing our people, hearing the people who live out in our community, reaching out, bringing that information back, and then taking that and making it move to the right place. So for me, I look forward to being mayor again, and I know that I have the understanding and the experience, and I don't know everything. Today is different than yesterday, but I totally am open with my experience to take what is on the table today and connect the dots, bring resources in, whatever it is. And so anyway, for me, that's where I'm at right now, and I look forward to serving once again.
Thank you.
Awesome. Great. Mel?
I like to think of it as, it's so harsh to look. I'm running against Bernard, but it's, I'm applying for that job of mayor. This is my 18th year on the council. I've been through 18 budgets. Numerous mayors. I mean, Brian Baptiste got elected to his first term on the mayor at the mayor's office the same time I got elected for the first time to the county council. And, so we've been through the Baptiste administration, the Carvalho administration, the Kauaʻi administration. In between that, there were some interim mayors as well. You had Gary Hugh and you had Kaipo Singh. And, I mean, you ask yourself, what has really changed? What has really changed? And nothing much has changed. It's the same style of government. And I'm not saying that it's the wrong style, but, as a council chair, and I've been honored and blessed to serve as a council chair for many years, there's only so much the council, the legislative body can do. In Kauai, we have the strong mayor system, so anything administrative or executive can only be done by the mayor. And I think, Bernard will agree or attest to the fact that, from my very first term in office, I've been harping on the issues that we are struggling with today, with the landfill, with wastewater. And we are still in that situation today. One of the bigger issues we have on Kauai is the sewer system, and we don't. It's a very inadequate sewer system, and for the last 20 plus years, I've been asking for a sewer plan for this island. That is not something the council, even the council chair, can put together. Only the administration. So talking with my wife, I decided, if we want to make the change that this island needs, then it can only be done as the mayor and not as the council. So we made the decision to move forward and run for mayor. You also ask about the priorities, and I'll just go real quick because I think the other questions covers a lot about this, but housing and infrastructure, I'll combine that as one because that is a critical need for this island. Housing, as you know, is almost non-existent, affordable housing for sure, and our infrastructure is at crisis levels that needs to be addressed. Drugs and crime, you're starting to see more and more of that. And I think government accountability and just being responsive to the public is something that I consider a very high priority.
Terrific.
Great.
So, Leah, I just want to double check. You want me to go next side, right? It's democracy, civic
we have
trust,
a big agenda here.
And leadership. Okay. And you mentioned some things, Mel, earlier in regards to things being in crisis. Some might say democracy is in crisis here on the federal level. Just off the top, democracy and civic trust in today's national.
You're going to go back and forth? That's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's his turn now. You're right. Okay.
This is on the
So
fly.
keep it share here.
Live and on the fly.
I just want to make sure I was on the right page.
You are so right. We are all on the same page.
On the same page.
And
There you go.
and speaking of that, you mentioned housing. That's why you're here. That's why PAL is housing, but so much more, because it is the core that leads to all of so many of our
And you all
issues
do a
here.
lot.
Right,
Trust
right,
me.
yeah.
You guys are
Totally.
a big part of it.
Big part.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. And including KKCR in this, if you will, kind of action. Oh, yeah.
And Hoike.
Hoike
Yeah,
Community Media.
we're all in this together.
There
So
we go. And that's why democracy is important to us.
Yes.
And in today's national and international climate, what does protecting democracy look like at the county level? And what commitments can you make around fair process, transparency, and respectful public service?
I mean, it's keeping the community involved and engaged. I mean, I think that's what it boils down to. It's, they gotta be a part of it. I was just talking to a bunch of kids, high school students, a couple weeks ago, and I said, we don't have good government unless the community is engaged and participating. I'm a very strong advocate of transparency. I mean, I do have my podcast. I try to get as much information out. We don't really have a good local media source here, print media, I should say. And so a lot of the times decisions are made and the public is unaware. That needs to change. Reminding our county employees that we are a public service organization and a community service organization, and our main focus is our constituents, and that we address the needs that they have and their concerns.
Thank you. Bernard, same question.
Yeah, I mean, for me, fair and accessible decision making. I mean, that's a big part of moving forward on this particular level. And then transparency is a standard, not a slogan. I had that down, because county government must operate in open budgets, contracts, land use decisions, policy proposals should, be easy to find. I mean, accessibility. Respect for process and the rule of law is another one that I think is very important as we move forward on, the democracy part of county. And then, to me, open government practices, being proactive, disclosure of information, clear communication is very important as we continue to move forward. And then fair and ethical, administration practices overall, because it ties all into democracy and what we need to do collectively overall.
Right.
And then strong collaboration. To me, that's a big part, whether it be through the county council, with our community, and the democratic process, if you will, is being heard, listening, reaching out, and then bringing it back and making things happen. And I think that's a big part for me regarding this particular question as we continue to move forward.
Thank you.
So next question, we'll just start with you now, because it makes it just easier that way, I think. So the first 100 days, what are 3 practical moves you'll make, and how will you keep the public updated on progress? That'd be you.
Okay, so me, I'm more direct and confident. As a former mayor and candidate, I have 3 practical moves to move forward. I commit to keeping our public regularly updated on our progress. I think that's an important part. And then more community focus. We got to stay community focused. And again, I'm focused on 3 practical moving forward that will keep our community informed and engaged as the progress moves forward. I think that's a big one. And then, of course, advancing public tracking of progress and assuring the people understand and have the updates efficiently. And I think that's a big part as we continue to move forward. So I look forward to moving on that.
Great. Mel?
Gosh, there's so much to do. The first thing in the first 100 days is
3.
3. Yeah,
The first 3.
I got a bunch, but
I know.
the 3 right
100
now,
days.
practical. The first one is to declare or implement the emergency declaration for our solid waste and wastewater crisis. I mean, that needs to be done. It no longer, we are beyond the time to be talking about it. We need to take action. The emergency declaration or proclamation will give us the opportunity and the authority to move quickly and effectively. The second thing is starting an Office of Accountability out of the mayor's office, where we will have one phone number. One of the more common complaints I get as a council chair, and all the calls that come into the council usually gets directed to the council chair, is the disappointment in the response from the various departments, or simply someone answering the phone.
Correct.
So my plan is to, utilizing existing resources, no additional costs, create the Office of Accountability, which will take all phone calls. And regardless of what the concern is, state, county, federal, private, but that call comes in, it gets logged, it gets tracked, and routed to the appropriate department. And then the mayor has direct information every 2 weeks of what's outstanding, why is it outstanding, and why we haven't gotten any resolution. And that keeps the county accountable to the people, because it's hard when you call for you're building a house, or you're trying to do something on your property, and you call one department. They said, "Oh, that's not us. That's the other one. You got to call engineering, or you got to call planning." That's not right, and I think that'll help keep our communities in touch with our county. The other thing, because I can only pick three, one that I plan to start immediately is the discussions with the private landowners on Kauai to at least start the discussion on establishing some emergency evacuation routes. I am very concerned right now. Again, now this doesn't say all the other issues aren't going to be worked on, but that last tsunami alert, really, I got a chance to sit in the OC, the Emergency Operating Center, and realized we got a problem, and we need to create more evacuation routes. We got to start the discussion. I plan to do that in the first 100 days.
Awesome.
There we go. I'm looking at the time. We got one message I've got to play at the bottom of the first, what do we call this? Mid-quarter of the first hour, halfway point. Gosh darn it. All these things are looking a little bit different than they did before.
We love technology.
That's it. I had a misplay earlier, so I want to make sure that we properly let folks know about Kauai mold and water. To add for that, keeping our visitors and Kama'aina safe. We're going to welcome you back to the booth. We're live with candidates for mayor, Mel Rapozo, council chair, and former mayor Bernard Carvalho, current council members. We're going to be opening up the phone lines at the beginning of the second hour after 5 o'clock, talking about some federal issues that might affect us here locally. In terms of federal policy, is there any role for the mayor that applies to Kauai? As an example, what is your position? Or if ICE were to be on island, how would you respond? Or what kind of, what would be your administration's response? And I guess we started with you, Mel, last time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll start with Bernard on this one.
Yeah, so this one is new to me.
Yeah,
but it's
right.
the same. No. And so for me,
Do you want to start with Mel then?
I can
Okay,
go.
go.
This is, you got the ice one, yeah?
It's the same question.
We'll
Yeah,
ask
same
the
question.
same
Yeah.
question.
Okay.
Okay, I can go. I'll go first. You want me to go first? I'll go first. If I don't want to,
No, we're on the same page.
Okay. Let me just say this. First of all, the mayor or the county doesn't have the authority to interfere with any federal project or investigative or enforcement project that's on the island. However, the mayor does have control of the assets of the county.
Right.
In other words, the buildings and the vehicles and the personnel. Kauai is a little unique because as was decided in court, that the mayor does not have the authority to direct the police department. So it's a little different here than what you're seeing across the mainland. So the mayors are pretty much limited. But let me just say this. I mean, I think for any federal agency, whether it's ICE or DEA or anyone, that if they're planning to come to Kauai to do an operation, that they should be in touch early on with the county leadership, meaning the mayor.
Sure.
And I think at that point, the mayor has the right to at least establish some guardrails to make sure that, the mayor's role is to keep our people safe and protect our people. And I would be very disappointed if they showed up one day without me knowing and started to go out and do some operations. But my point is this, while the mayor cannot get in the way of a federal project or investigative project, the mayor does have the obligation to take care of his people. And I think that the mayor's voice is a heck of a lot stronger than a council chair's voice. And I think the mayor has that obligation to utilize that voice and advocate for the people of the island. And and obviously, I think if you know Mel Rapozo, he's never been afraid to speak out on what he thinks is right. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think it's the communication and the relationship with these external agencies, whether it's state or federal, so we can do what's best for our people here on Kauai.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Because there's just, I mean, obviously what's happening in Minneapolis is, on a lot of people's minds. And, the mayor there is kind of feeling a little overwhelmed by what the federal government is implementing on their people.
And that's why we added that question.
Yeah, it was added. But that's okay because
happening right now. No, that's...
Yeah, it is happening. I think it's something obviously very important. But the role of the mayor, regardless, is responsible for our island overall, and there has to be some kind of connection. And knowing that this possibly, coming to Kauai,
right?
And so my thing would be check in first. Let's work it together. There's an opportunity to do what you need to do here if you want to, but at the same time, there's a process in place. There's regulation, rules that we set forward. And I would want to make sure as mayor that we are contacted, we understand the process, what's happening overall, and then we respond with our key people. Kauai is a special place, right? And so we need to assure that no matter what responsibility as far as for the federal, state, county, we are county leaders. The leadership has to be the ones that is contacted respectfully and move forward. And so I think that's the biggest thing, because some might think, oh, we're just going to do what we need to do. No. To me, as mayor, we need to assure that accountability is at the forefront, because why? It's all about our people. It's all about the keiki and the people that live on our beautiful island of Kauai. So overall, I think it's very important, the role of the mayor and the responsibility of notifying us and keeping us engaged no matter what. It's not about, again, titles and all that. It's about the responsibility of overseeing the people of our island of Kauai.
Thank you.
Can I just add real quick?
Yeah, please.
I was here as a police officer for 13 years, and I can remember off the top of my head 3 projects or operations that we did work with different federal agencies, and I will tell you that it was well organized, well planned. Information was wonderful, and the projects went without any issues. So it is possible. And
I'd like to think that's true, but considering the current climate, who's following rules?
Yeah,
I mean, that part is extremely concerning.
My point is that the mayor's duty is to make sure that is known to the federal agencies, and that we need to do it the right way.
Right, and I think that's where we're struggling. What is the right way? I mean, and both of you guys, just a short, what's your sense as how do we get over this as a nation? What are we going to need to do to get out of this hole that we're kind of in at the moment?
To me, I mean, there's obviously this major thing happening overall. And first of all, we got to, for me, assure that we are taking care of our home base, and we have the resources we need, and we have the relationships we need. Things just kind of happen and just pop up, because it's about the safety of our people in our island. So to me, as mayor, I would do whatever I can to assure that we are informed, or we can work together, like how Mel was saying, that we can make sure that we're accountable, and they're accountable to us.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's again, it comes down to relationships, and the mayor. One thing I commit to as being a working mayor is getting out there early on in the term to start establishing these relationships and these the communication, so that they are aware that we are aware, and that we are willing to work with them. But again, it's the mayor needs to have a set of guardrails that he needs to let them know that exists, and that. If it's outside of the guardrails, then there's going to be an issue.
Thank you both for responding to that.
Okay, so we'll start now again with, because you started, Bernard. Okay, so we're on that same chain of thought. What is your assessment of what's going on with KPD leadership right now, and what steps will you take in your first year to strengthen morale and public confidence, and are there any changes you might like to see? Yes.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, my first year, I would focus would be to stabilize the department, support the workforce, and rebuild trust internally and externally overall. I mean, just to make sure that we are working together. And I would also look at conducting an independent assessment within my first month. I would commission an independent review of KPD's organizational structure. I mean, we've done that before, working with the police commission. That's another part that all works simultaneously. Just identify morale issues or operational gaps, leadership challenges, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. And then stabilize leadership and clarify expectations overall. And then improve staffing, recruitment, and retention. I think those are the things that we need to look at as we continue to move forward. My goal, is with the police department where officers feel respected, supported, and proud of what they're doing. And to me, that's what they need. They need to have that support. And as the mayor, working closely with whoever needs to be part of this whole process, that our police department has the resources they need and the support that they need. And as we continue to move forward, to assure that we can move with the right people in the right place. Thank you.
Yeah, again, as I mentioned earlier, it's kind of the way it's set up here with the commission having the authority. It's difficult for the mayors here, but the mayor appoints the commission. So I guess picking a commission that shares the values that I have would be critical. And morale is always important to me. And like I said, I served there for 13 years. I served during good times and bad. The last assessment that was done by that, I can't remember the agency that does all the TV ratings. What's the name of that thing? I can't remember anyway, it wasn't a very pleasant result. And they are working with the agency to work on ways to improve morale. But again, it comes down to just having an open door and being able, and not just for the police chief or not just for the commissioners, but for the rank and file. I want to be able to hear, as a council chair, and I don't screen my appointments. You call the secretary, she checks the date. My door is open for anyone. I plan to be the same way as the mayor. And the rank and file, and not just in the police department, but across the county, most of the valuable information you're going to get is going to be coming from the rank and file, from the workers. Mm-hmm. And I encourage that. I want to hear from them. So as it relates to the police department, and I have an understanding of I work there and I'm familiar with it. But it has changed since I was there.
Sure.
So I got a lot to learn as well.
Time.
It's been a long time.
Mm-hmm. The world's changed a lot
Correct.
Since you worked there. And,
But it's open communication between the agencies, the departments, making sure that I am aware of what is really happening on the ground.
And I'm just going to ask, and Leigh, if you don't mind, it's off script a little bit.
No, please,
go ahead. Civics lessons for us. Who does the mayor appoint and who does the council appoint to, you mentioned the police commission, other commissions, boards and commissions, just briefly, who does the mayor get to kind of nominate or bring into the, if you will, fold of local government?
Well, back in the day, it used to be the mayor had 3, the council had 3, and then the 6 picked the number 7.
Uh-huh.
Now it's the mayor picks them all.
Mm-hmm.
Confirmed by the council. However, there are a few commissions, like historic preservation, that the council will have 1 nominee or 2 nominees. But generally speaking, the mayor has the authority and appoints all commissioners.
Mm-hmm.
Is it geographically?
No.
No, it's just
okay.
overall.
Okay.
If you will, I don't want to say folks that the mayor knows well enough to trust that they're going to be in alignment with the mayor's values.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. And I was not sure because I knew that the mayor nominated some or appointed some and the council as well. But now things have changed a little bit.
And just to be clear, there's a process in place and we got to follow and making sure that everything is, running in the right way. And so, but overall, yes, the mayor is responsible. Mm-hmm. And that's what it is.
There we go. Something more to look forward to. Was that my question? There we go. We're going to move on to housing. Housing planning and neighborhood balance. What is your guys' plan to make housing more affordable for local families? And what is the first move you would make in year 1? Who's going first? I forgot.
Who's on first? Okay.
I'll go first. Prioritize housing for local families and workforce. That's number one.
Okay.
And so county resources must be aligned to support housing for residents, of course, and live and work in our community. So overall. Number two, increase supply to smart, responsible development. Smart, responsible development. And to me, we cannot solve affordability without increasing supply. I support a mix of housing types, starter homes, rentals, all of it. But we got to look at what is the best fit for Kauai. And, there's a gap housing issue that I think we got to talk about as we continue to move forward.
Sure.
We got to keep our kids home. And how do we work that? Streamline the permitting and reuse unnecessary delays. Sometimes there's delays that shouldn't be happening. And I believe as mayor, you can jump in there and work closely to help the process, not to stop it, and facilitate it. I think that's an important part. Streamline permitting. I'm telling you, it's like time is money in housing, and you got to work it. And then, of course, use land and public-private partnerships strategically. I think that's another one where county-owned land should be evaluated and prioritized for affordable. And we work closely on those kinds of issues. And then protect existing housing stock. How do we do that, right? Keep local families housed in important building unions. This includes supporting rehabilitation of aging housing and all of that. So that's just another avenue that will help keep housing in that particular realm. And so to me, bringing together county departments, our county council, housing developers, nonprofit, just a whole of everyone.
Yeah.
As a leader, and assuring that these are the projects or these are options or what can we look at to provide the proper and right housing for people in overall. And like I said, I have numerous experiences in that, but the gap housing part, I think, is another one we got to really look at, and what are some of the areas that we can work together.
What is gap housing? For folks who might not be, because I know folks at Kauai know all about that, but for some of our listeners, what is gap housing?
Well, gap housing is not the ones that are with the affordable side.
It's 120% AMI.
It's 125, and that's the one, a lot of times, our kids, our families that have to move away.
Is that the over-under
Area
for the
median.
baseline?
It's those that cannot qualify for affordable, and they cannot afford market.
So it's affordable
I like to call
income.
it workforce housing.
Workforce,
Workforce.
Yeah,
For
workforce housing.
your nurses, your teachers, your police
All those
officers.
guys.
Gotcha.
And the number 120 means percentage of area median income.
AMI.
Which is really skewed for
AMI.
us because of the extreme wealth on the North Shore and the extreme poverty
Elsewhere.
for everyone else. Yes.
So there's a menu of opportunities there. So anyway.
Thank you. And I appreciate it. And so far, so good. You guys have been really dialed in with your answers. We're almost on time, right? Gotta love that. And there's no timer. Thanks, Max, for not ringing a bell or anything like that. This is great.
Okay.
I just want to say that everything that Mr. Kauaʻi said is absolutely true. The problem, though, is we don't have land. The problem is we have failing infrastructure. So we need to get to the root of the issue that is preventing us from inventory. We have wonderful partners. Number one, the county should never be in the development business, in my opinion.
Because that's not what the county does.
That's not what we're not built to do. We have amazing partners like PAL, like Habitat, and we did just so many opportunities, but we don't have land. And we have some stringent rules on the books. Why aren't we allowing prefab or modular homes here? Why aren't we working with those companies that can put these homes together at $240 and $250 a square foot on county land, where we can share an infrastructure with affordable housing or workforce housing developers like PAL? But without infrastructure, Jimmy, there's just nothing we can do without inventory. So
we're not going to move the needle.
So when I talk about the systemic changes that I plan to bring, that's it. I have been lobbying for us to use bond financing to purchase lands that Grove Farm is actively selling right now. And the current administration is opposed to that. If we don't buy those lands, somebody else will.
Yeah, like
And the
A
people
B.
that buy those lands aren't going to be interested in taking care of our local community, potentially. So the county needs to step up. County needs to provide the resources. And the only place that resources are going to come from right now, it's not going to come from real property tax. It's going to come from financing, of which I fully support at this time.
Financing being that we use...
Borrowing money. because the general public, the real property taxpayers, can absorb the debt service on a bond finance versus just pumping up their real property tax to make these payments.
A more equitable way for that.
Way more
Overall,
equitable.
with the payments part, yeah.
So the next question, we'll start with you this time, is, Mel, is if you could choose one strategy to deliver the most housing impact over the next 12 to 24 months, what would that be and why?
Well, like I said, purchase land.
Okay,
We need
so
to purchase land.
primary
And then
number one.
I spent some time on I'm not going to mention companies' names because I don't want to promote
don't.
any company, but there are multiple companies in the state that can put together these prefab homes, these modular homes, these homes that are being able to be put together much quicker and cheaper. But another interesting thing that I found on the Big Island was that the Big Island and Maui, they have a memorandum of agreement. So any house or any floor plan that is approved in the county of Hawaii or in the county of Maui automatically is approved in the reciprocal county. I would like to establish that same relationship with all 4 counties. So if you go to Honolulu and you go to a company that's selling these package homes and it's already pre-approved, then it's pre-approved here on Kauai as well. That'll cut a lot of time off of the building permit time, as well as third-party administrators or third-party reviewers.
Right.
We got to start looking at expediting the permitting process.
Amen to that. Bernard?
In addition to that, there's a lot of projects, stalled projects that need to continue to be built and supported. So across the county, there are housing developments that are zoned, planned, partially approved, kind of like in the middle. So that's another area that I think we got to look at to assure that we can move it forward, and then create single point of accountability within the mayor's office. So I think developing a solid team that can support these efforts overall is important. So as mayor, I remember, of course, making sure that we had the right coordinated effort internally, so externally we can get the resources done. And like how we were talking about, deliver units faster by making sure that we have the resources available.
Great. They pretty much answered the next one, so go right to neighborhood balance.
Neighborhood balance. There we go. So, let our listeners know during the second hour, we're going to be opening up the phone calls, the phone lines for folks, 826-7771. The question is, we're talking about housing, neighborhood balance. How will you balance housing needs with protecting neighborhoods and community character, including vacation rentals and enforcement?
Okay. I think it's no secret about
okay.
my position on TVRs. I was there when we did the original bill in 2008. And, while we have come a long way as far as enforcement, there's still a lot of illegal vacation rentals around in neighborhoods. The simple answer is increase enforcement and making sure that our neighborhoods are protected from this intrusion of transit accommodation rentals. The other thing is, on the shoreline as well. You got a lot of people that live in areas that's on the shoreline, and we have a lot of violations along the coastline and shoreline protection. If you remember, back when Councilmember Joanne Yukimura was on the council, she and I passed the most strictest shoreline bill in the country, and that has since been watered down. But regardless of what the law is, if we don't have the accompanying enforcement, then the law does nothing. And so obviously the TVRs, the shoreline protection is critical. And also what we have not talked about, and Councilmember DeCosta and I were working on this list of public accesses that we have lost, not just Makai, but Mauka. We want to preserve those neighborhoods that once had an access that no longer has it. My plan is, as the mayor, is to actively go after all of our access again.
Thank you. Good answer.
Yeah, and I think overall, my approach is balancing housing needs with neighborhood protection includes core areas that we got to focus on, housing where it belongs, not everywhere, but where it belongs, and making sure that we follow through. Strong, consistent enforcement. Enforcement is another one that I think is very important. We can do all this stuff, but if we don't have an enforcement process in place, we can just continue to go with clear standards to protect community character and listening early and often. So it's all about balance to me and working it closely with all our community members. But I think overall, just the neighborhood balancing everything out and assuring that we have the resources available.
And just a quick follow-up, because the next one is, what does fair and consistent enforcement look like?
Right.
And I think both you guys
What is what? I'm sorry?
Fair and consistent enforcement, because both of you agree enforcement is necessary.
Right.
And currently, what would you do, or what would that look like to increase it and make it equitable or fair to those that are most
everybody
affected?
gets treated the same. Jimmy.
Yeah.
That's what fair and equitable enforcement is. Everybody gets treated the same. I don't care how much money you got in your bank account. It is what it is. We have the laws that have been in place for a long time, and the only way this community will work is if laws are followed. And so, yeah, fair and consistent across the board, and everyone should be in compliance.
But there's been times, and sometimes my understanding, that only that gets paid attention to if there's been a complaint lodged, and then the complaint is written up as the person who complained, and nobody wants to do that, And so, what is that process? And why would someone who actually blows the whistle have to be exposed to the person who's, it makes a real problem, actually. Do you know what I mean?
So what I tell people, and we have 2 active ones going on right now, is just let me know. Just email me or any council member. But I welcome them all, and then I file the complaint, so they don't have to be noticed.
Okay. 'Cause that's a snag.
That's exactly right, and then making sure that once that happens, then it moves forward, right? But there's so many of that happening out, like how you mentioned.
Yes.
And for me, I'm going to say as mayor now, council members, okay, but as mayor, how we work together from the council to the mayor's side, and seeing how we can look at these kinds of issues up front and making it happen and addressing it collectively overall.
And it almost means scanning the social media, the site.
Yeah.
There's so many sites. People find ways to kind of sneak around
Yeah,
those rules.
and again, that Office of Accountability that I was talking about now, you call that number, and that's where you will let them know, and that's where it'll take off.
Okay.
There we go. And we are getting kind of to that point of the show. I might do something that I normally don't do, which is I'm going to run my underwriters now. And we'll let our listeners know after our messages. Phone lines will be opening up. I already got a question that's going to come to this next session of water governance and infrastructure. A caller asked about, can you ask them, is there going to be any support for cesspool conversion? And that's, I know, kind of a state related as well as, locally. What are we doing about that? So something we'll think about for the second part of our show. I want to let you know that this Monday Mix Play Kauaʻi Permanently Affordable Living Hawaii radio show is made possible by KKCR sustaining members in partnership with Horses Are Good Company and Halelihue Second Saturdays. All right, Kauaʻi with that one. A little late. It's always a celebration time here at Kauai Community Radio. We've got special guests on our POW Hawaii radio show. It's the candidates for mayor in our upcoming election. I know it's kind of early to think of the election already, but here it is, 2026, and you guys are ready to go.
First out of the gate.
Really appreciate Lay, you willing to let's have a candidates forum right off the bat. So thank you guys for making the drive up to our little jungle shack. And the next time we get you on the podium, it might be in a different venue and with more candidates. I don't know, but we welcome you right now. Loving the fact that Huike is also helping us with our local broadcast streaming on. Are we on YouTube at the moment? Or?
Yes.
Oh my God, those. Here we go. We're going viral in moments. Next question, I guess, is about
so take the caller's
infrastructure.
question. It's
All right.
perfect timing, actually.
I put a note down there, cesspool conversions. Where do we want to start with that? Because I don't know if it's regionally going to be implemented first in some places or all across the board. What does this issue mean to you guys as the next mayor?
That's
whose turn is it?
Good. I don't know.
So maybe we'll go with what are your top priorities for the next 2 years, and how does that?
Well,
Well, the question just wants to know who wants to go first.
Yeah.
Okay, I have been in discussion with House Speaker Nakamura to see about repealing that statute.
Okay.
The
Because it's a state
It's a state
mandate.
law, and it's a law that will not be able to be enforced. And there is no way possible for, and I'm just speaking for Kauai, for the amount of cesspools that we have on Kauai, it's going to be impossible to have the conversions for all. And then what will the state do? I sat in a conference, and I think Mr. Carvalho may have even been, it was an HSAC conference, and they had an environmental speaker that made it very clear that septics does not provide much better impact to the environment than cesspools. And so this is my point. Rather than put a fictitious date out there of 2050, which we know is not going to be met, and we know we don't have any mechanism in place to, what do you do?
Like a sewer system?
Seize the house?
Right,
What do you,
right.
you take their cesspool?
Put a lien on that property.
Yeah.
No,
So-
yeah,
Right? I
Right.
mean,
So, number one, I think that needs to be repealed. But more so, number two, I think, as I stated earlier, the county needs to come up with that sewer plan. That's why the emergency declaration is so important. Because even if we had a plan in place, it's going to take a long time to get sewer installed and connected. So until then, the state and the county is going to have to work together to provide some sort of incentives and assistance or subsidy for those that need to convert their cesspools. And I'm talking about the ones that are level A or the ones near water. And you know, they have it tiered. So the ones that absolutely need to be done, I believe that we need to provide some sort of, and I'm not saying full subsidies, but low interest loans or no interest loans, so we can get these septics installed. All that 2050 deadline did was increase the cost of a septic system. Because what used to be $24,000 for my house is now $62,000. Because they know supply and demand,
Right.
and that's what the county and the state's going to have to
It'll
work
be
with.
like what happened with solar. And then suddenly people came from who knows where and set up shop and did part way of a job. And
Right.
it's going to leave our households in trouble.
And I think overall, you know, again, same discussion with the septic and talking to Rep. Nakamura as well. You know, how do we manage this, right? Overall, and I think, you know, with the cost and all of that, you know, the timeline is just there right now. We just got to make sure as decision makers that
Right.
we provide the support. Yeah.
And it holds up. If a person wants to add an ADU, which is going to help housing,
Right.
and they can't do anything unless they do this septic, well, then they're out.
They're out.
They cannot afford it.
So I think
And they're
overall,
held up.
yeah,
Yeah.
we need to make sure that's
I mean, that seems like a great strategy for the, if you will, chief administrative officer of the county to say to the state, guys, we got to do something better than this.
way better.
Yeah.
I've been beating that drum for a while already, and it's like not moving. So, but yeah, that's the reality of it. You know, that's the reality of it.
I did get a call, and this is going to kind of take us back to a little bit of housing, you know, related. And this caller first said, "This is a question for Mel," but we're going to direct it to both of you, and I think you guys all can, you know, relate to this. Is callers your kid's age, and said, "Can you talk to Mel about what is he going to do for the kids, his kids' age?" So this caller is, you know, Barron's and Nikki's age, and how are they going to live here?
Well, my Baron lives in Oregon, and my Nikki lives in Texas. So this is personal to me.
And that's why I
It's-
think he.
Me too.
Yeah. And you know, it's tough.
too.
And you know, yeah, I sit here as a council chair, been here forever, and have not been able to crack that nut. And that's why I talk about the county taking a more active role in purchasing land, making inventory available, utilizing, again, these resources that are available today, meaning prefab homes. And I went and toured a bunch of models on the Big Island, and these homes, I'm thinking about getting one for my, you know, just taking my old 50 or 60-year-old Hicks home, 720 square foot, tear them down and put up one of these package homes because they're beautiful and they're well equipped. And they're very, very affordable. So yes, it's again, you know, there's always issues in the construction trade with the unions, and that's always an obstacle. But at this point, I think the mayor needs to be bold enough to say we're going to do what's best for our people, not what's best for special interests, but what is best. What can we do to get our kids in homes the fastest. And that is what I plan to do.
And again, as mayor, in my experience as the past mayor, is exactly that. I mean, making sure that we reach out, we connect, right? And then bring that resources back, because this is a big issue right now for all of us. And this whole, come on. And so we've done numerous attempts to reach out and connect and secure the resources and all of that. But at the same time, you know, it takes a lot of coordination and effort and making sure, in the meantime, our kids having to move away and all of that. But I'm thankful my children are home, but at the same time, in general, for our entire community, we as leaders, as the mayor, has to move forward and connect and bring back the resources so that we can move forward on what we need to do for our island.
Great.
Thank
Good answer. The next one is a big one, and it has to do with water, because, you know, that's a key issue when anyone's building. Can you describe, and I'm going to load it up, and then you can choose how you want to answer, because it's a big topic, right? So can you describe the relationship between Department of Water and the county administration? Are they separate, or and if they are, would you advocate or recommend a change in that relationship?
And I think Bernard goes first.
Okay, as far as you're talking about the relationship with the water.
Of the Department of Water.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think we have, as far as I'm concerned, a solid relationship working forward with the current director right there. And I think there's a lot of issues that we collectively work over and went over in numerous ways. And so I'm totally ready to assure that this whole water issue is dealt with at a level that we can make sure that it serves our people. And so I'm thinking overall, right? And so the bottom line is that relationship, and then making sure as the mayor that we can get the resources and then connect and move for the people. Yeah.
Because it's a stopping point. It's a holdup for projects. To want to move forward, we can wait for months and months and months.
And that's why the internal part of it, we looking at it now, not later, and then define and then going and moving it forward. I think that's a big part as the mayor to assure that accountability overall is done in a very efficient and way to assure that we can move.
And I guess understaffment has a lot to do with things. I don't know. It's a big mystery for a lot of developers. Of what is the holdup? Why are we waiting so long? You know?
Well, let me just say, we don't have a source problem. We have a lot of water. We have a transmission problem, and we have a storage problem. So we have water. I mean, that's not the issue. The problem is we have infrastructure. In many cases, these pipes are over 100 years old. Wow. The water department is semi-autonomous, meaning they are not connected to the county. So they do not get any real property tax money, any general fund money. They get what they raise through water fees. Those water fees haven't been raised in over 14 years. To try to play catch up now is going to require them to raise those fees to what I believe will be unaffordable for many people if they were relying solely. So the way this whole government structure works is, so the county, we have real property tax, we have revenues, we have TAT revenues, we have all these different revenues. We can use those revenues and leverage them against some bond financing so we can go out and borrow money to pay for infrastructure. The water department is very limited because their revenue stream is very small.
Just
it's only
rates.
tied to the water users. So you're going to hear this for the first time today, because when I talked about systemic change, that's what I talked about. We got to do things differently. And I know some people are going to freak out, but this is the only way I see, and it's going to require a charter amendment, but my plan is to spend that first year or so, year and a half, in educating the community. We need to bring wastewater, the wastewater division, which is under the county, and put them under the water department. Keeping them semi-autonomous. But what that does is that creates a revenue stream for the water department now to go out and seek bond financing to start working on the infrastructure needs of the county.
Because sewer rates or...
So, the sewer fees would be going to the water department now, not the county. It makes sense. Water and sewer go hand in hand.
There's
Many
a flow
jurisdictions, as we travel around the country for different conferences or whatever, I talk to a lot of people, and I was shocked to see most of the municipalities, the water and the wastewater are combined.
Tied together.
So that, again, you heard it first here on KKCR and Ho. But that will take a charter amendment. So that'll take some education for the general public. But that is the only way. Otherwise, the the fee increases for water will be significant, and I do not want to see that happen.
There we go. Because
Overall,
I was going to say, Mayor Bernard, you've been there. What do you think? Is that a good idea? Is that
it's
something
being creative, right? We talked about that too, overall. But there's a process in place that we need to deal with first, and then reach out, like how was said. So I think that's totally something that we gotta look at and continue to move forward on, because that connection is very important.
Thank you.
And I look forward to.
Okay, so you.
Going to manage that and make sure I got nobody calling in right now.
No.
That kind of answers the question about cesspools as well,
Yeah.
our
It
question.
does.
And water comes up on so many different shows, water quality, wastewater, and solid waste. We're going to get to that soon. Or do we want to go
Touch on
there now?
emergency readiness.
Okay, there we go. Because that's always something, emergency readiness. It's a need for us. What are your, in related to fires, floods, storms, power outages, what would you strengthen right away? And what's your long-term plan for Kauai's emergency management plan?
I don't know who goes first. I don't know who's on first.
I think
I know
Bernard went
what's
first
on
this time.
second.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I know Bernard and I
go.
will agree
Totally.
that our Kauai Emergency Management Agency under Elton
KEMA.
is amazing, and they've had a lot of practice and they do a great job. I talked about the emergency evacuation routes, which is on my list in the top 100 days, at least to start that discussion, because I think it's critical, and that is a very vulnerable part in our emergency response. What we just did on the council with the administration in this plantation camp ordinances that we passed that would basically incentivize or require in the new developments to fire safe your homes. I think it's going to take a lot of work to come up with. And again, I like incentives because incentives are incentives. It forces or encourages people to do the right thing. And so if you come up with a your home is designed in a way that it is wind resistant, fire resistant, there's an incentive. But the point is, right now, because we live on an island, and because we only have that one road, that I was very disappointed to hear that we don't even have the shelters that I thought were in existence are not. So emergency evacuation routes and shelters are the two that would be on the priorities as far as emergency management.
You see, right now, we're kind of in the deficit on that side.
Absolutely. No doubt.
Our
no doubt.
tsunami, if you will, experience of recent months past, that kind of helped us realize, oh, wow.
A shelter for a tsunami is very different from a shelter for a hurricane.
Yes.
And I think we're more vulnerable to a hurricane than we are to a tsunami. So that is my concern, is creating more shelter space, or we already do provide the tax exemption for safe rooms. If you build a safe room in your house that's hurricane resistant, you get a tax break. But we need to do more of that. But aside from that, the county needs to take the lead role in creating these shelters that across the island in conjunction with the state.
And as in the past, working closely as the former mayor, working closely in disaster situations, we've had it right here on the North Shore, having to reach out. To me, preparedness, having landslides coming, you got the water, you got barges that can come in to connect here. With the big connection right over here, reaching out into the community, the numbers. I mean, all of that is important. The bypass roads, I think, going Mauka is a big part that we got to connect on. Going up the power line road, coming out from here, because from Hanalei you can get to Wailua eventually. So that was another issue that we talked about to assure that doing emergency situations, having gone through it myself, and being right here in Hanalei, Haena actually,
Right.
and knowing that the support and the resilience of moving forward overall is important. So I think with this whole talking about it and going through the process and then ensuring that we have the right information and routes available, and then reaching out. So I think overall that's the portion that we need to do.
All right, we're going to make a little switch here. We're going to take a call Put this caller, you're live on the air for the candidates. You have a question that we could address to both of Mel and Bernard?
Short and respectful.
What I was just wondering, for the future mayor, what would be their role to reestablish and relocate the Lydgate wastewater treatment facility, since we understand it's in a tsunami zone, and that the wastewater branch currently asks for $50 million to just repair it where it's at. I just want to know what their thinking is on that.
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I just talked to Bernard Wednesday. I said, Bernard, they're coming to us. They want to. They have a $13 million RFP for Wailua.
$13 million, you guys.
Okay.
So the truth is,
are you guys going to get into the 3-point stance now?
No.
This one. Let's go.
No, Bernard and I have been working on this wastewater issue now for 18 months.
18 months or so.
We have sat in numerous meetings. We have sat in numerous with different landowners. Bernard is currently actively working with another landowner. Okay, this is the bottom line. Wailua needs to be relocated.
Right?
Yes.
And we can't invest more money into that.
Correct.
Because it's got to be relocated.
Yes.
Correct. We already got the heads up. We're in an inundation zone. EPA is watching. DHHL has lands across the street.
Right, Mauka of that location.
As well as other potential spots.
And plans for housing up there too, right?
Correct.
Oh my God.
So to the caller, I feel your pain, and again, right, and this is one that Bernard and I be working on.
I think that's good that she understands we are working on that. We're moving forward. It's very important. That's an important part of our island, and to address it. And then once this happens, that's a footprint for other areas too. But we gotta get this moving. It has to happen ASAP, especially in this area. Very important.
That is why the emergency declaration or proclamation is so important, because we need to put that in front of the queue. We need to
that
get
prioritizes
that correct.
It. Right.
We need to move it because we approve emergency funds $250,000. Oh, this thing broke and the equipment is so old that they got to fabricate the part. We should be moving the
throwing good money after bad is what my dad would say.
That's
Lipstick
exactly
on a
what
pig.
Oink that one.
Lips throwing lipstick on a pig.
Thank you for paying attention, caller. That was awesome. Great question.
Thank you, caller.
Okay.
And then a quick question on that topic is, are there any issues or contention about the future site? Complaints or anything about where it would be relocated to?
We've been talking, right?
Okay,
So you're talking about the relocation of the...
because
on the bypass road. We talked about the Bette Midler property of Mauka. You know, there's options on the table right now, like Mel was just saying. So I think we have options. It's just securing it, getting it ready. I mean, we're talking about connecting all the way from up Mailona, coming down. And then it's... Right, that's the whole.
It's a big system.
That's a big system, but there's other new technology that I'm learning that we need to look at as well. So, believe me, this is a very important. This will set the footprint. This will set the footprint for our island.
Oh my goodness,
as we continue to move forward. Okay.
Well, and for you guys, because housing and that kind of infrastructure,
it's such an issue.
Water comes in, water's got to go out.
Right.
So we can't do that. We can't have houses.
And to have you pay 50, 60 grand for a septic system or buy a package plan.
50 or 60?
But again, Bernard and I have been working on this for a while now, and we have brought wastewater to the council meetings, and we've basically put a lot of pressure on them. But there's certain things only the mayor can do. Certain things only the mayor can
And then
do.
another thing on that topic of emergency readiness is in the event of an evacuation necessity, which does and can come up. I got to ask the question of Cocoa Palm's egress will completely block off people in Wailua house lots. If it ever came to that they have to leave, that's the way they exit out, and it would completely jam up that road. And the ingress is Kuamo'o. Nobody would be going in, everybody would be wanting to go out, and that's the only way to come out of house lots. So
we don't have enough time for me to share my opinion on Cocoa Palms. I tell you right now.
We don't.
We are winding things down after this next section of questions. We're going to talk a little bit about visitor impact and homelessness, the housing insecure population.
So we'll go right to that next one.
We'll do that, and just a reminder, 826-7771 is the studio line. We've got Council Chair Rapozo, who's running for mayor, and former Mayor Bernard Carvalho, Councilmember running for mayor, and questions. We're taking questions. This one's dealing with impacts, visitor impacts. How would you manage visitor impacts so residents have a good quality of life, our roads and beaches aren't overwhelmed, and tourism still supports local jobs? What are your top 2 actions your first year?
To me, managing visitor impacts is about balance, accountability, and local benefit overall. And I think we need to look at how we better manage visitor impacts, put residents first in daily decision making as we continue to move forward, manage demand, not just promote growth. What is demand before growth? Protect infrastructure and natural resources. That's another important one I think we need to look into. Ensure tourism supports local jobs and local businesses. That's Appreciate another one that needs to connect. So I think overall with this whole visitor impact, how we implement targeted visitor destination people, create a visitor impact accountability framework. I think as mayor, that's a big one to ensure that we have the resources there to manage this better.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mel?
Yeah, I think, KA Beach is a great example of how the public-private partnership along, with the state, the county, and the private nonprofits, you'll see that happen now at Hyanna Beach Park. And I know some people were opposed to it, but the vast majority of the residents in that area supported it. We're taking a natural resource and making sure that we are limiting the visitor use of that area and maintaining that resource for our local residents. And KA, when they started the KA thing, I was kind of skeptical, but it turned out to be a winner, and it's now a model program for many other islands across the state.
North Shore of Oahu.
And when you
North
see,
Shore.
no, but the problem is when you do KA, then you push the people to Hyanna, and then when you do Hyanna, you push people towards Anini and so forth. So, it's a plus and minus, but I believe the paying attention to the resources that we have, and as Bernard said, putting the local resident first is critical. And there's not much we can do. We cannot control the number of flights that come into the island, but the mayor does have a voice. And that voice needs to be heard across the pond to let them know, hoy, time out. We got way too many people coming off those planes every day, more than our infrastructure can handle. That discussion has to start.
Hoy, that's a legal term, right?
Hoy is,
And just a quick, and Hoy is on, but just to me, it's all about balance, right? And how you manage that better. And we've done that, and it's totally an important issue that we got to deal with.
So this is going to address.
This is something. Oh my gosh.
The caller wanted me to. It was like,
Oh, good.
How can local people, and what would you guys as mayor do to help local people not feel marginalized or separated from the rich people? It was I hope I got that right. It was, this feeling of, we got a lot more rich people, and how do local people, I wanted to say, as a mayor, how do we marriage those two?
Well, we represent all, but setting policy. My another one of my plans that I have that I didn't mention is setting up a community leader work group, and this would be a community work group made up of leaders in the community from all different sectors, including the tourism industry, construction, law, everything, and having a monthly meeting with them, so I get to hear from them what's going on the ground, so we can make better choices. But I think it's the mindset of making sure that when we make decisions, those decisions are made in the best interest of the local resident. I mean, it's a mindset issue because we don't control the feds, we don't control the airlines, and so forth.
And then for me, in follow up to that, what Mel just said is, as mayor and taking my entire cabinet, my team out. I want to do that. Get out into the community, listen, be heard, be visualized, let them see who you are, who we are as a team, and then come back with results, overall. This is a big issue overall. And I think not only on this side overall, and I think with the ability to reach out that way and then respond back collectively and knowing that they have access is a big part for me overall.
Well, there you go. And that caller, if I didn't address the question right, feel free to give us a call back and clarify, because I think you're right. It's an important issue. It's a big issue, and you do want to represent everyone. But I think, I don't want to, make any kind of assumptions. But local people have, I want to just say, a special place in your heart. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right? As
and they
mayor,
have a variety
for a
of
place
different
where
jobs.
a lot of I'm one of those newcomers. I'm a newcomer, right? And I think that
My definition of local is you live here full time.
Full time.
That's my definition. You live here full time. You contribute to the community. You're local.
See, you're a politician. I'm not.
Okay.
And that's
You're
okay.
here. Let's go.
That's just how I feel.
And I think that there's always going to be some tension in a small community like this when there's a lot of outsiders, and a lot of times those outsiders are just here for short term.
That is why, Jimmy, it is so critical to make sure that the community feels relevant, that they're heard, that when they call and they report something, that something gets done. Because what they see or what they experience is they call, they get brushed off, they get put on hold, they never get a response, and then they see these rich people getting what they want. So it's making sure that we put them first and making sure we have the mechanisms in place so that their concerns get addressed. That's how you fix that.
And again,
thank you.
That's exactly, again, reaching out, coming out as leaders, as a team, and assuring that your voices will be heard, and then coming back and getting it back out that way. I think that's an important part, no matter where we go on this island, and we got to address it collectively.
It's a Kako thing.
Good answer.
Yeah, good answer.
Should we take the break now, or can I ask the next? Should we do the break?
Do it, and I'll make sure I've got
It's kind of a big topic.
Oh, righty. Then there we go. I'm just going to play a message off of our machine about sustaining members and seabird fallout. Kauai's next mayor on Kauai Community Radio right here. And Kauai current mayor, Derek Kawakami, letting you know you are listening to Kauai Community Radio. We've got about a half hour left. Phone lines are open, 826-7771. And Lay's got a question.
Okay, so leading into those who are experiencing houselessness, how will you address houselessness or homelessness in a way that's humane, effective, and realistic, and what would you do in your first year?
Who's up?
I'll go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
No.
yeah. Having dealt with this issue overall, houselessness is a big issue, and there's different levels as far as I'm concerned, and we need to address it. Lead with housing and shelter pathways to assure that we have access, coordinate services, not fragment them, I think, overall, and then focus on Kauai-based solutions for Kauai residents overall. And so I've offered opportunities to work closely with our community and addressing our homeless issue. And I know there's community parts levels that want to work closely, meaning that the mom who has 2 kids and just doesn't have access to anything. We created an opportunity to work closely with the community. Example, our churches. They would be open to having them stay on site at their churches and work closely with the community. I'm just giving one example overall. And then there's the ones that just come here from wherever they're from and they need to get back to where they want to do. So we did a grant program that if they connect back with a pastor or a family member, then they will be able to go back home. And then the ones that are truly houseless or homeless, that's the ones we got to deal with on an overall basis. But I think collectively, this issue is very important, obviously. And I think, obviously, as mayor, I bring that experience back, but at the same time, connecting the resources to assure that our housing agency, our team, assessment team is in place, and then we can do a critical overview on what the real need is and how we're going to address it overall.
Because everyone has different
circumstances. So some are truly homeless and houseless, and they only need 1 more month or 2 more months, and they're fine. But they don't have a home. So that's one level. And then there's the ones, like I said, who come and just want to get back to where they go, and okay, fine, but you better make sure that you have a connection here. And we'll give you a voucher. And then the last one, of course, is just the ones that are truly homeless that we need to work with. And so I think reaching out and seeing how we can manage that, and they're not all over the place, but assuring that our housing agency, obviously, and our team internally can address it overall with as far as being mayor.
Yeah, I support safe zones. That's something that's not very popular with government, but that to me is the solution. I mean, we can sweep campgrounds and just force them to go somewhere else. And there's so many different categories of homeless and houselessness. You have some, not all of them are criminals, and homelessness is not a crime. So, what do you do? And it's I believe that yes, working with nonprofits, working with churches is critical, and that is part of the solution. But at the end of the day, the county has an obligation to those. Remember, I just said we represent everyone,
Right.
not just the people with homes. So I don't see a problem. We have working families, mom, dad, and kids. In some cases, kupuna, grandma, grandpa with grandkids because parents are gone. And they are living in their vans. And they are worried at night that some park ranger is going to come and kick them out. Why don't we have a facility or a parking lot that the county owns, that we can have these people come in at night and spend the night, they'd be dry, be safe, and be warm, and not have to worry about being kicked out. And again, that is an idea that I have presented in the past, and no one wants to do it. And when we talk about change, that's what change is. It's being willing to do that. Let's do a pilot. 90 days. If it doesn't work, we tried.
Incentives.
But what do you
Right.
do, right? I can only. It's a second. We all know homeless friends and houseless friends.
Right.
Yep.
And many of them, most of them are good people, just that fell onto some rough times. It is our duty to take care of them. So safe zones for me would be and again, that is in collaboration with the communities that will be involved, but the idea is to get them safe, get them warm, and get them dry, and not worried about their items getting stolen when they fall asleep.
And have it be a more humane approach to managing that issue as opposed to a criminal operation to create more.
Safe zones.
Yeah, but
For
we're
what?
going to increase the prison population by, criminalizing homelessness if we're going to go round them up.
And again, one more thing.
Yeah.
There's
Go ahead.
our local people. Our local people are homeless or
Yeah.
houseless. I won't say houseless.
Yes.
And that's the ones that we need to, really look at safe
Right.
zones and work collectively on that. I mean, like I said, my experience has been there 2-3 months. That's all they need. So how do we intervene or help support
Right.
that? They can stay here, like I said. So my program with nonprofits is one thing, but government or county would have to really look at that
And help
whatever
kind
is-
of
yes.
coordinate, facilitate.
coordination amongst everybody.
I mean, think about just logistically,
Yeah.
right? Right now, you got, let's say, Meals on Wheels, or you got DHS, or all of these different nonprofit organizations that are out providing social services, and they're spending most of the time on the road, going from campground to campground to campground. Where, if you provided these zones, one-stop shop, everybody gets the services in one location. And like I said, you run a pilot for 90 days, it's going to work, and then you duplicate it in another community, and again. And I mean, in the meantime, trying to get these people reestablished in housing.
Right.
That's the key, though, is making sure that it's not it is a temporary thing until we can get them into some kind of transitional housing.
And it is local people. And it
Yep.
could be a family who was given the 45-day notice. And that happens all the time when people are selling. And,
Right.
and the only option is move out. They look, they struggle, they find some even have HUD vouchers, can't use them because they know they can't afford $5,000 a month to house their families. So,
Don't forget the security deposit.
and plus that.
Yeah.
And postcard.
And the pet deposit, no.
All of
But
the above.
Lumping unhoused as they're just derelicts, they want to be unhoused and all those things, because there are working poor who get up in the morning and go find a place to bathe their kids, send the kids to school, and they go to work.
Right.
And that misunderstanding about that, the homeless, it is an awful label to give.
Right.
Agreed.
The sweep thing is the issue, though. Moving everybody out and offering absolutely no other option of where to
Alternative.
go
That is-
No,
Right.
is
it's just moving people from one place to another. It's just not.
and
So we
it
gotta come.
cripples them.
Yes,
It takes
exactly.
every
So
last possession they own,
Right. To
wipe it out.
displace people is
Right.
kind of, that's criminal in my mind.
Yeah, and people who actually have vehicles, they could utilize a safe
right.
space. We
And
tried
they
to
just
do
need a
that
safe
years
place.
ago.
Yeah. And again, looking at evaluating in our housing agency, of course, done it before. Evaluating each one, the ones that are truly homeless, the ones that are house, all of that. So I think
Triage,
it's
pretty much.
triage.
Right,
Yes,
right.
overall,
And
very
having the
important.
capacity to serve
that they-
them
yes.
in
Yeah,
some
it
facilities.
just makes sense. And the other, I just want to expand on one thing that Mr. Carvalho talked about, sending, having that fund that you send them back home if they want. A lot of these guys come over because they want to get to the Hawaii dream.
Right.
They come here to realize, oh my gosh, you got jobs,
I
but not enough to pay for the rent. They run out of money, and then they're here homeless. They want to go home, they can't afford it.
Yeah.
I would do exactly what Mr. Carvalho said, except I would take it one step further and said I would not require someone on the other end to vouch for this. I mean, if we come across an individual that is homeless or houseless here that came because they thought they could make it and they couldn't, and they want to go home, provided they're not suffering from mental illness, and that's a different story. But we have a legitimate homeless person that wants to go home but just simply can't afford it. I don't see why we got to get some permission from someone on the other end. That's just my own personal opinion.
Mm-hmm. And you'd be willing to, if you will, allocate resources to do that?
Absolutely, because the cost that this county and the state
will save in the
incurs,
long run.
yes.
Mm-hmm. So the caller had two questions, one related to housing and one kind of water and environmental base. Maybe we'll start with the housing and then go to the environmental one. The housing related to Hawaiian housing and I think there was a development close to the airport or maybe this was the condominium development by Kintaro's. Waipoli. That was going to be potentially used for Hawaiian homes, or the question that the caller posed was not clear.
PAL is not involved in that project.
I don't know.
I wish they were.
Yeah. But she'd asked about it. Had you guys heard anything about the development there? Was there going to be an alternative where it was...
Because people will be displaced and have to
I understand there's some
else.
lawsuits being filed now.
Right,
I understand there's some lawsuits.
Yes, definitely, right now.
And just a little backstory for folks who don't know what we're talking about while I take this phone call.
Well, when the Kauaʻi Lagoons Resort came in for rezoning many years ago, that was a requirement that we put on, that they had to provide affordable housing, and they built that complex, and it came with a 10-year requirement, and that the county would have the first right to purchase. Well, the 10 years came, and the county refused to purchase. In fact, Councilmember Carvalho and myself were out at the I won't say protest, but it was a
Talk story. Whatever.
and it ended up eventually introducing and passing a resolution urging the administration to purchase that property. The council wanted to purchase the property, but again, the administration decided not to. The other option would be that goes on a market. It could all be timeshares, but DHHL decided that they would purchase it. The problem with that is that DHHL requires a blood quantum. So those that are in that property now that does not meet the blood quantum will be removed. But there's a relocation plan that we also brought on the county council floor because it's inadequate. So I'm not sure where we're at. I just was informed a couple of days ago. Actually, it was at the opening of the legislature when I was told that a lawsuit was filed by three of the residents, and potentially could become a class action.
It looked like you were going to chime in.
No, just to follow up on that, the relocation plan, that's the whole part right there. But yeah, Hawaiian Homes came in, but then that blood quantum. But I also know, and we talked about this, that like I said, the relocation plan would help them, they'll have to move out tomorrow. There's a timing process in place, that's my understanding. But at the same time, the realistic part of it is not kind of connecting
Because
right
of
now.
inventory.
Yeah,
There's nowhere else to go.
So, but that whole complex, it's just going through some stuff right now. So.
Yes.
And we've been involved in it. We've been out there on the road with them and, doing all this and assuring that what kind of support they would need, But that's what's happening right now with that.
That's why PAL's not involved in that.
It's just...
Yeah, I really wish we had purchased that, and no one would have gotten displaced, and it would have
happened.
Converted it over, right?
It would have been
missed
too easy.
opportunity. We'll just chalk it up to that. We had a caller who had two questions, one for you and one for you, kind of related, somewhat separate. I think you answered both of them already, but I'll pose it again. For you, former Mayor Carvalho, he asked, you served for 2 terms and served part of another, so you've had some experience. Why do you want to do it again?
Okay.
And then one was for you, Mel, was, hey, you've ran a couple times. What's going to be different this time? Why?
I hope it's different.
Okay, well then we'll take Bernard first, and then you can address that
And he
part.
did such a beautiful job in the opening remarks, so it'll be a little repetitious, but that's okay.
There we go. Yeah. So why again?
Again, it's about the people, and the people have been approaching me in numerous numbers to bring back, my style of leadership. And so I, of course, talk to the family first. This is something, but I feel passionate about it. I have the understanding. I know that side as far as being mayor for 10 years. And so when I was approached by numerous people, we talked about it, went through the whole, process. And I said, you know what? I think at this particular time with my experience, I had 17 years as a civil servant, 6 years as a department head, 10 years as mayor, and now 6 years as council. So just wanting to passionately bring all of that back to the table and reach out into the community, knowing what I know, but also assuring that I know the past, but the present, I'm totally open. I'm learning to bring it on. But you know what?
Love it.
I can connect the dots. I know from the federal, the state, the county levels, the community level. I can reach out what we need to do, but I'm open to the new way of thinking, the new understanding, the new way we got to adjust things. You got to be open. I'm not going to make, I know what I'm doing. No. I'm totally open. So I look forward to that opportunity. And so that's how it happened. And now we sit here talking about, why you want to do this after 10 years.
There you go.
Okay, but that's the truth. And so I'm not just doing it. I feel passionate about it. I have the understanding. And now with the experience from our county council and working closely with our chair and everybody else, let's go. And so that, to me, I'm asking your question, answering your question, and that is why I'm at the table right now running for mayor.
Terrific. That's a great answer for folks who might not have heard, weren't listening. They were still working when they got in on the beginning of our show. Mel, what's going to be different this time?
In an election?
Yeah. Well, what's?
Hopefully, I'll win this time.
Yeah. And why? Why would you?
No, I mean,
what's going to be different?
I'm not sure when that caller came on and started to listen, but it's very simple for me. It's like, again, 18 years on the council, worked with many mayors, a bunch, including Mr. Carvalho. And have built up a lot of experience. While I cannot say I was the mayor. I think I can say that I am quite familiar with how government processes work. And I believe I do know what needs to be done. I believe that I do know, and yes, I remain open-minded, and that's part of this whole process is getting the community involved and engaged. However, at the end of the day, you need a leader that is willing to make those decisions and not be worried about any kind of political repercussion. I mean, we talked earlier about all the situation, the issues that we have right now with our infrastructure. This has been going on for decades. We need to change. We need a new way. And I think today you heard a few of my possible solutions. It is different. It is not the normal way. But if we continue to do what we do, we will get the same results. And in sitting down with my wife, when we made this decision, I talked about it and I said, I just feel that if I want to accomplish what I believe this county needs to accomplish, it has to be as the mayor. Because again, 18 years, that's 9 terms, with various mayors, beating my head against the wall, but not having that authority to make the change. That can only come out of the mayor's office, and that is why I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for that. The other call, or the previous caller, had 2 questions. The second one was water-based, water coming from Waialeale, and a diversion that I think KIUC has been managing. And they wanted to know if you in the mayor's office, would you do anything to help return the flow of water to the natural stream bed? So I think there's some state issues related to that. Some decisions already been made, but as mayor, you get all kinds of calls, just like a community radio call-in show.
We don't screen them.
Yeah, and this caller wanted to know what's going on with Waialeale and I think it's the North Fork of the Wailua River.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. I'll be honest. I just there's been a lot of talk about that in the past, and that's just something that has never come to our at the council level. Mm-hmm. But as with any issue, right? The mayor is not going to run away from it. Definitely take a look at it. But it's tough to comment on something like that. I'm not sure if the diversion is KIUC's or someone else's. I'm not sure what that is for.
And even the caller wasn't sure about that.
But I'd be happy to look into it if you let me know.
Mm-hmm. And I know we have some pretty, Akamai listeners that do follow the whether it's on the KIUC side or the Department of what was it?
Watershed.
Land and Natural Resources. Wait a minute. That stream flow should be this, and good thing we have some monitors, folks who know what's happening back there, because that's part of the mountain terrain that most of us don't get into, and we shouldn't. Only those who really have business up there.
So this was for Wailu River, right? You said
a diversion. Yeah, I think it is ultimately at the base of Wailu.
Maintenance, right? Overall, we talked about that before, and working closely with partners to
KIUC
assure,
would be one of them.
Yeah,
and the state.
River and stream. We had several meetings in the past with the state level and all the partners, just taking the initiative to look at, because a lot of that along the beach area, along the river area, a lot of that is supposed to be managed. I'm going to say this by the people who live along the river. That's their kuleana. That's part of some of it. But at the same time, I'm not putting it on them only, but there's a partnership that has to happen. And it goes all the way up Mauka, because I live up Wailua. So I just wanted to make sure, the details, that I don't have the details, but yes, it is an important area of discussion for the river and stream maintenance of the water flows.
Right. Island-wide.
Way up Mauka now I'm talking, so
yeah.
Just like how you said.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, we're getting close to the end, but there's a question at the end, you see it, that I'm dying to ask under administration.
Okay. Yeah, and I was just thinking, gosh, are we going to get into this? Are we going to be able to talk trash in our next 15 minutes? And I know we can leave it to, Max's podcast, because that's one of the things he likes to do is talk trash on his podcast.
Well, you're talking trash. I was looking at the next set.
Solid waste is a big issue. And I was thinking about, do we want to...
recycling and all those things.
All of those things. We've got time. Because that last question that you wanted, I think, is important. So we'll finish on that.
So we'll be brief on the landfill part. So, okay, go.
We can come back for the second.
Okay, you go ahead.
So let's talk about what is your plan for the next landfill and the next 1 or 2 years, and then long term. And since we're just on that, let's add recycling and waste diversion. What's one change you think could make the biggest difference, and how would you make it easier for residents to participate?
Whose turn is it? I don't know.
Mel, you're first.
Okay. Curbside recycling would be the one thing that would make the biggest difference and the biggest impact. That comes with a price.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But right now, and again, one of the bigger reasons that I am running for mayor, one of the most toughest issue I think that is facing this island is the landfill. And that's an issue that has been with us for a long time. And decisions got to be made. But having said that, diversion right now is the key. This diversion right now is what we need to do.
More of.
Absolutely. And so curbside recycling, again, that'll take time. That will take time to develop the program, get the equipment. It's not as simple as just putting some barrels out in your curb. It comes with a huge infrastructure and equipment purchase and all of that. But having said that, that's where I want to be. Until then, I tried to lobby for $1 million this year in this budget for to provide incentives or subsidies for composting. I'm a huge believer of composting only because I was at a function and Compost Kauaʻi was there. I don't know if I'm supposed to mention names.
You just did.
Yeah.
And they're wonderful folks.
I bought into the service. I paid $32 a month, and it took me from 2 barrels to 1. And I shared with the mayor. I said that is what we need to do across the island.
Right.
But we need to subsidize it.
Incentivize that.
Have different companies around the community. Let's provide them the incubator so they can start doing. It's very simple, and then you get a little notice every quarter. Hey, you have X amount of compost you can come have delivered to your house. It is an amazing program. My point is this: we need to divert. Our landfill is going to fill up before we are able to come up with the next landfill. Long range is a complete process and system in place that we will recycle and take out everything that we can, and the landfill doesn't have to be 1 million acres wide. You know what I'm saying? We are living on an island, and remember earlier I talked about the 30, 40 year? At some point we will run out of land. So let's find out and determine what the best solution is and make it happen. But right now, the composting would be the one that we can do relatively quickly.
Thank you.
And for me, obviously, supporting recycling in general terms, exactly what was said, so that's important. But the landfill is another big one. And I'm going to say I was involved in, before we left office, we sited a new landfill. It was the Mahalo site. And the big vision for that whole project was to Disneyland of waste. We're going to create this recycling, reduce, reuse, recycle. I'm going to teach our children, our kids, this is the site to go to, the Disneyland of waste. It will be an educational experience. So reduce, reuse, recycle, and then there's a landfill afterwards.
Whatever's left over.
Whatever's, but you do the right way, okay? And involve our keiki in the learning process.
Sure.
And then so working with the landowners, everybody, all the names, but that was part of the plan. The biggest challenge was the community side of it. And we needed to assure that the community would accept the landfill within their area, which is the Hanama'ulu community, because it's the Mahalo site. Knowing that the current landfill, Kekaha, was about to expire, and you guys know that. So there's been numerous meetings. The biggest part was to assure that the Hanama'ulu community was accepting a landfill in their community. And we had numerous meetings, and it happened. They agreed. So everything was in place, although we finished office already at that time. We're transitioning, and it kind of, everything just went to a stop. I'm going to just leave it at that for now. I'm not going to, okay, enough.
Okay.
But at the same time, was very,
You're right.
But,
There's a little frustration.
Yes, frustrating, because we did it.
Yes.
Come on, let's go.
Right.
So now everything is back. So now it's been years later. So there's a new thinking. Do we extend the current landfill? Do we add another X amount of time there? How do we, there's new technology. So my mind, as if everything works out, is new way of thinking. I'm open to listening, but I just share with you folks that was already in place. Everything was done. We did the footprint. I know there was an issue with the birds, football stadium, and all that, but we had a plan in place for the birds. We're gonna have the youth help manage and take the birds who fell at the football field, and take them to work with the fire department. I don't want to get into details, but just know that this was a very important part of moving forward, and that whole portion was ready. It's just that it didn't move.
Here's a really just quick follow-up. Is Mahalo site off the table now, or is it possible,
just
especially
recently,
with a change in administration?
Hold on. So I was told that they're really looking at that again as we speak. So I'm going to kind of leave it at that right now. That's what I was told. And so, but everything was ready to go at that time. And so if we can relook at that again, then this whole new way now, technology has progressed and everything. So I just wanted to share that and know that was the passion at that time.
But we still know diversion is a big part of the solution.
Oh, yeah.
We got to do more.
That's what it is.
There is no other option right now.
No.
Especially now with more people and more stores and more stuff, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
250 tons a day.
Yeah.
And
And still selling styrofoam coolers.
We're bumping up. This,
Okay.
I think, is the right time.
Yeah, I think so.
And
here's
we got a little bit more time on that clock than that one. So you're going to ask the closing.
Yeah. So it's going to be a combo question.
Combo question.
A combo question, because,
Okay.
So, to both of you, if you win the mayoral race, is there a role for your opponent in your administration? And if you win the race, is there any role you would offer your opponent in your administration or in an advisory capacity? Because we know you relate to one another. So
is that two separate questions?
It kind of blends. You can take
like
it how you like.
Well,
I mean, the first one could be a yes or no.
And I think Bernard's going
suppose.
first.
yeah.
Oh, so I'm going first. Okay. Oh, really? Well, let me just say this. In what I would say, overall, so the question, is nothing against Mel or Brother Mel, and it's just that for now, right now, where I'm at and how I've come to the table is I reached out to, community, came to me. And so we're in the process of assembling a solid team specifically. I haven't promised anything to nobody, just a solid team to focus on our campaign. That's the route that I'm taking right now with the people that surround us. And so I'm thankful for where we're at right now. Yes, I'm open to all kinds of opportunities that will come our way. But at the same time, my effort now is focusing on our campaign and moving forward and assuring whoever joins our team will be part of the team all the way to the end. And then we'll go from there. That's kind of like where I'm at right now overall. And so you want to join the campaign team, let's go and move forward. And I think, but opportunities will come afterwards, and we definitely will be able to talk story.
Okay.
So that was a no.
You the one said that. I said I would.
Well, I mean, and I totally respect that, man. I mean, I totally respect that. I told Bernard early on, I said, it's like a football game. We're both big football fans. It's like a football game. We're going to work hard. We're going to train hard. We're going to watch tape. We're going to do all of these things. We're going to play that game. And at the end of the game, regardless of who wins, we remain friends. We shake hands and we move on to the next one. I actually see it. I definitely would love to have Bernard on my administration. I mean, I really would. In fact, we had discussions in the past, and I told him, just come join our team, and whatever you want. I want him on our team because he is a amazing resource. He's correct. I mean, he's done it for 10 years. The fact that I want to move in a different direction doesn't disrespect his time as a mayor. Times have changed, but I am hopeful that should I be successful, that Mr. Carvalho would join my administration, and hopefully in a capacity that we can utilize his talents to really move this county forward. So absolutely, no hesitation. I don't know if he would come on, but there is definitely a spot. In fact, he could come right now. He could come right now on radio. He could sign this right here. No, I would be honored to have him join our administration. Absolutely, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Wow.
Awesome.
Thank you both so much for coming in here. It's been very interesting and fun and informative, and I can't thank you enough. On behalf
Thank you
of
all.
Cal.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all, man. Bernard.
That's it. Mahalo nui loa.
A big mahalo to
Thank you, guys.
K Community Television, Max Richardson for supplying us with the audio and video on live stream YouTube, channel 54 as well. Stay tuned for A World of Jazz. We will be listening to a version that is happening as we speak. You are listening to Kauaʻi Community Radio, KKCR Hanalei, KAQA Kilauea, KCQA Anahola, and K205 FM Honolulu. Aloha.